Hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Screen Heroes. This is a big episode for us. This is number 60, guys.
Woo!
So that's pretty cool.
Not as big as 50.
Not as big as 50. 50 was a big one, though.
But that's why we had an award show then, and now we're having a fan casting.
It's true. Yeah, this is big. So I'm
Big.
Derek, one of your regular hosts, and I have my two other regular hosts with me as well, Ryan.
Hello.
And Ray.
Hi.
And Ray, do you want to introduce our guest?
My bestie Hills.
Hi.
That was weird.
So
That's kind of how we talk all the time.
That was Hills, for those of you who didn't quite grab that.
For those of you whose ears don't pick up that level of...
For the humans in the audience.
We're only talking dogs now.
yeah.
So, do you guys want to talk a minute about who you are together? Since we're live on your page.
Well, Derek, we've been meaning to tell you.
I'm like,
we've been having an affair.
I'm okay with it. It's fine.
I mean, we are together. Is that a question? Or...
You guys do stuff, right? Like, what do you guys do?
Okay. I think he's getting at the fact that we cosplay together.
Yes, that would be, that would be what I was trying to...
We're the Super Sirens. I talk about the Super Sirens all the time, but we play dress up for very, very, very small fees and mostly pure enjoyment.
Yes.
That's right. So much enjoyment.
So much enjoyment.
so much.
I'm just enjoying making those costumes.
It's a blast, I'm sure.
I don't think enjoyment is like ever part of my
Maybe the end
my
result.
process. Yeah, sometimes, like occasionally. The end result very occasionally.
Well, we're excited to have both of you on together.
Yes.
So that's cool.
See, this is really special because we absolutely love the Gotham City Sirens. We love our individual sirens a lot.
Why does that why does that matter? Why is that significant to tonight's episode?
Because we're fan casting the Gotham City Sirens movie, Derek.
Thank you. There you go. The people listening may not know. If this is the first episode that they're catching or they don't follow us on the social medias, then they wouldn't know.
That's true.
So,
Was there any news this week that we need to talk about?
I mean
there's sad news.
That stupid award show happened.
Yeah.
That wasn't the sad news I was referring
well, that was
to,
pretty
but-
sad in some respects, but...
No,
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Paxton unfortunately passed away from surgery complications. That was very sad.
Yes.
Even
in death, he's still getting mistaken for Bill Pullman, so that's cool.
Yeah, that happened a lot. Even on our own Twitter feed, some people thought that.
Really?
Some people mentioned some movies that we left off his list because he wasn't actually in them.
And it's like,
Like Independence Day and Spaceballs, I think we got.
not the same guy.
Not quite the same guy, but yeah. So that's sad. I'm a big fan of Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton was such a phenomenal actor because he did his job well. So many actors, they become, characters of themselves. I think, people go see the Rock films because he's the Rock and not necessarily, like, who he is playing is secondary. Whereas that was never the case with Bill Paxton. He could be his character 100%. And maybe he never drew in fans based on the name alone, but he was always solid in his films. He was always fun to watch.
And TV shows. He was really good in
Right.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. And Big Love, people have...
I'm the only one who
I
watched
don't.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so-
I don't watch it.
But he was great.
But he was great in it.
Yeah, he really was.
I mean,
That's cool.
he was always one of my favorite parts of any movie he was in. He was definitely my favorite part of Twister, which I know a lot of the Storm Chasers, especially out here in the Midwest, kind of did a big tribute to him.
Yes.
Which was really cool. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we had the Oscars. Anything you guys want to throw out about the Oscars?
I didn't watch them. Did you
Oh,
guys?
yeah, Ray and I did.
Okay.
I watched
We were
I
watching
got through the
one
best
episode.
makeup and
Nice.
costumes,
Good choice.
and I think I turned it off. Or I didn't turn it off, but then I walked away from it. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, at that point, you might as well stay through to the end because the awards just get bigger as the night goes on.
yeah,
so.
but I was just
You were done.
I was a little bit done with it at that point. So
Fair enough.
Oh.
Fair enough.
It was a fun show. It was mildly entertaining thanks to Jimmy Kimmel. It was incredibly entertaining thanks to everybody else. Jimmy Kimmel was a little racist. I didn't really expect that, but okay.
Yeah. You're talking about the name thing?
Yeah.
Where he kept making fun of people's names?
Like Mahershala.
Yeah. He also made fun of people's weight a lot, too.
Yes, he
Those
did.
were his two go-tos, his fallbacks when he didn't really have a joke in mind. That was kind of what he went to.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be hosting it next year.
Kind of crappy.
No, but I mean, he said that off the bat, that
Yeah.
this is his first and only
Sure.
time at the Oscars, so I'm not really surprised, but...
I was never a giant fan of him, but, I guess he's come a long way since When Ben Stein's Money.
And The Man Show.
Yeah.
Let's
When
not
Ben Stein's
forget.
Money was first, I think.
Yes, it was. Yeah. But still, I mean, when Ben Stein's Money has a little bit of sophistication behind it because it was a trivia show. The Man Show, I mean, a big part of the show was the guy who just chugged beer. So,
Yeah, that's true.
so...
I remember one episode where they had a woman on who's had so many silicone implants. Her boobs were now officially like a double K.
Was she the one that crushed beer cans with him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
She lifted
saw
it up
that.
and like
And then-
slammed it down and it crushed
I'm not
her
ashamed to
boobs.
say I
Yeah.
watched some episodes of that
What's
show.
your favorite episode of The Man
I
Show?
don't know all the episodes.
The one that ended in girls jumping on trampolines.
Every single episode, yeah.
I remember I stopped watching the day they tried to convince women to protest against women's suffrage. Not suffering,
That-
suffrage.
That was a weird one.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
There was some Green Lantern news this week too.
Yeah.
The rumor
Yeah.
about the guy didn't remember the name of the Green Lantern, but he's definitely showing up.
It's
in
a weird
Justice League.
name. It's a
Yeah,
weird
That
name.
narrows it down from it's not Hal Jordan. We know that,
Right,
But
yeah.
pretty much everybody else.
It's not Guy.
Yeah,
It's not
or
the
Guy.
white one.
Yeah,
Okay.
or Jon Stewart. Yeah,
It's not an Earth
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
yeah.
It's probably Abin Sur. Yeah,
Probably.
that's probably who
Well,
it
there
is.
was rumors that
but-
somebody saw the concept art of Abin Sur like months and months ago, so that's probably what it is.
Abin Sur is absolutely fantastic. He'd be cool to see in the film.
I mean, it'd be nice if they kept the origin of Hal getting his ring from him, right? But that would be kind of cool. But
I'm sure that's what'll happen. He'll die during the climactic battle of the movie, and the ring will go find Hal Jordan at the end, and
do you think then Abin Sur will be part of the battle with the Justice League?
probably, yeah.
That'd
Really?
be cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's a
I mean, that
space
just
dog.
sets it up for the Lantern Corps movie in 2020.
I would
really.
definitely-
Or
you know me,
actually,
I mean,
because
that'd be
Justice League
awesome.
2 comes out before then, so that'd be setting up
Yeah.
So
for Justice League 2.
next fan cast, you guys want to cast a Green Lantern Corps film?
I mean,
Derek
sure.
does.
Yeah, I mean,
Derek
I can do it right now. Let's go.
Okay.
Just
wait.
get a bunch of guys that look good in green, and that's my fan cast.
A
because-
bunch of guys that look
Yeah.
good in green.
So gingers,
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Everyone's going to be a ginger.
All right.
not just guy.
Not just guy.
All right. So maybe we should move on then to the topic at hand.
Sure. What are we doing?
So we are fan casting the Gotham City Sirens movie, which exists in the DCEU. It's kind of the next movie after Suicide Squad, I guess, in that timeline, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Justice League's at the same time.
Yeah, it might be. Justice League might be before Gotham. I mean, the movie comes out before.
It
and
does,
They've been kind of
yeah.
doing it in that order, so.
There you go. That makes sense. And David Ayer's doing this one, right?
Yeah, sign on to be the
It's,
director.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we can get it out of the way who our Harley Quinn is.
Yeah.
And did anyone choose
and-
anyone
and
other
did
than
not have
Margot
Margot
Robbie?
Robbie.
Would.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously going to be the one in it, and she's part of the reason that that movie is even being made in the first place. So I feel like it'd be kind of a bad move.
I thought about it, but I was like,
Yeah.
nah.
I thought about
It's
it.
not realistic.
Well, I had
that-
thought about like who else I would want to be her, but she did a pretty good job, so she's kind of hardly in my mind now a little bit. I mean, she was one of the better parts of that movie as far
I
as
agree.
casting goes.
I agree.
Fair enough. So then who wants to start us off? I think one of the Sirens, Super Sirens.
I mean, that
Sure.
seems to be
should
logical.
start us off.
That makes sense.
Do you want to fan cast your characters first?
Oh,
Sure. That's a
good
cute idea.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Super cute, Derek. You're so cute.
Derek.
I am adorable.
So for my Poison Ivy, I wanted Natalie Dormer.
Oh my gosh, we
That's
chose
a
all the
pretty-
same people.
I
hate
chose somebody
you
different
so
because I
much.
knew exactly who you all were
All
going to choose.
right.
Like we literally
Just
chose.
cross that off my list. All right, so
We've talked about this multiple times, though. We've, like, bounced people off of each other.
I never, like, really thought about it in depth. I'm always,
that's true.
Like, when I'm just, like, thinking about it, I always have to, like, research, like, look at the people, because it's so hard for me to think of a person off the top of my head, like, who would be good in this role, but...
I should have put my backup for her, because now I'm drawing a blank on the woman's name.
Well,
why don't you tell me why you picked...
I picked Natalie Dormer because of her role of Anne Boleyn in The Tudors. She was sexy and seductive, but she was intelligent, and she was caring. She was nurturing for her child, Elizabeth, but she was also manipulative. She clawed her way to the top. She was queen for a short time. So
she's basically the same character in Game of Thrones too.
Exactly.
Marjorie Tyrell, you know, manipulative, smart, what have you. Same character. So.
There was...
I just want to say hi to David. Hi, David.
Hi, David.
He was saying hi, David Edwards from Greg Ron Geeks. So just wanted to say hi. Continue.
But basically off of that role, and a year or so ago, there was some really fantastic fan art of her as Poison Ivy.
Oh,
I don't think I saw
right
that.
Right after she shaved her head for Mockingjay, they did the fan art, and I fell in love with it. And Natalie Dormer's the only woman that can make me want to shave my head, but...
Natalie Portman didn't do it for you?
She's crying during it.
Natalie, she was supposed to look pretty.
That was kind of like a traumatic.
I know.
Yeah, very much.
I was seeing if it was a Natalie thing in general, or...
No,
all right.
Maybe it's just like the half of the head. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's really pretty.
That's cool. Can I borrow your phone for a second so I can look up that other
totally.
woman? Because I can't remember
Feel free.
her name. So.
What has she been in? I can probably tell you. I'm good at that.
I'm just gonna...
He doesn't even know.
Yeah, we're because, yeah.
Is it Megan Fox?
It is, no. It is not. It is not Megan Fox. I can promise you it is not Megan Fox. So, I picked Natalie based off of her role in Game of Thrones. I haven't seen Tudors, but I thought her character in Game of Thrones was also very intelligent and very strong and, very creative and confident and things like that. Physically, I thought that she looked the part too. So.
Well, and then Tyrell's symbol is the rose, and so it kind of goes.
Whoa!
Bam, dude.
Love this. Love this. It's levels. There's not one aspect of Poison Ivy that I don't think Natalie Dormer can achieve. She can do the multiple doctorate intelligent woman. She can do the supervillain. She can do the eco-terrorist. And she could probably bed anyone at this table if she wanted to.
I mean,
yeah.
She is very attractive.
Right.
She is very attractive. Yeah.
I think there'd be a certain chemistry between her and Margot Robbie too.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because I don't know about you guys, but I would kind of like to have them together. Like, screw the Joker, leave him out of this. And let's have Ivy and Harley Quinn together, like it should be.
I agree.
So Ryan, you're the only one who didn't have Natalie Dormer as your Poison Ivy pick. So would you like to let us know who your pick was?
I picked another Game of Thrones person.
Really?
Rose Leslie is the actress's name. She played Ygritte.
Really?
I think it would be really
her.
interesting to have a Poison Ivy with a British accent. Personally, like I'd want her to keep that accent because
I like that idea.
it kind of like the Catwoman I picked. It'll make more sense, but both of those characters are going to be. Are there more like You've seen Harley Quinn. You know that she's like very accented and doesn't like street level, doesn't come off as like hyper intelligent or anything. And the Catwoman I picked is going to be more of a like disturbed past, like darker history.
Okay.
And so I think that to offset those two, that you need someone that comes off like a higher class, more, I don't even know how to describe it. You know what I'm saying? The British accent, as silly as it sounds, it does make people seem more intelligent. Like that's an assumption a lot of people make, and like the higher class.
So you want her to keep the British accent?
I do, yeah.
Because a lot of British actors get rid of it.
No, I want her to keep it. So. I think it's a nice offset.
The majority of American superheroes are now played by British actors.
I mean, Henry Cavill
with American accents, yeah.
Has a very
Christian Bale,
Benedict
Andrew
Cumberbatch.
Garfield, Benedict Cumberbatch, like
Well, I just meant in the current DCEU.
Yeah.
I was just,
Chadwick
but-
Boseman got to keep his accent.
Yes, he did. It's a little different.
Anyway.
But no, that's a really good choice.
I think she really looks the part too. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, she might not be as like super sexy as Natalie Dormer is, but she has her own type
She can be
of sex
pretty
appeal.
sexy.
And
She was the
could
very
pull up.
first woman in Game of Thrones in Westeros to have oral sex. So good for her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that necessarily applies to her
She
Poison
got-
Ivy role, but
No, it's just a fun fact.
Is that true?
Yeah, they made it a big point that Jon Snow invented cunnilingus.
Ah,
Like there was an entire scene dedicated to it.
I mean, there is definitely an entire scene dedicated to it, but there's also a scene in one of the whorehouses where, like, what's the kid's name? I'm like 2 seasons behind. I can't remember.
the one kid.
Yeah, who like I
know
guess
what
he
you're
like
talking
pleasures like a dozen women and they don't
Yeah.
want him to leave, and like
Yeah.
Good for him.
so I guess I assume some of that happened, but they didn't outright
It's not
say
as
it. I guess
explicitly
so.
said.
Yeah. So all right, so those are our 2 choices
So,
then
moving
for
on
Poison
from
Ivy.
oral sex, yeah.
Two Game of Thrones
Egret
women.
and Marjorie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so cute.
They can fight over it. I'd watch that.
I wonder why.
They're both like warrior characters.
right, that's why.
Yep.
Totally.
Tell me that
Egret
Egret
would
doesn't
totally win.
kick serious butt.
Like, she does.
I mean,
she would
I
totally
don't watch
win
Game of
it.
Thrones.
Oh,
but
okay. Well, she
And,
does.
I mean,
really-
in the pictures I saw of her in that role, she looked like she could beat somebody.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
a wildling, and so she's like pretty hardcore. She
Absolutely.
shoots Jon Snow a few times.
Spoiler alert.
She doesn't kill him.
Whatever.
No, she doesn't kill him.
She doesn't kill him. She just shoots him a bunch. She was mad. So.
That's fair. Yeah,
All right, so now Hillary, you cosplay as Catwoman.
I do.
So who did you pick for Catwoman?
I had a couple of choices, but my first choice was Ava Green. Yeah, I know. I saw your favorite.
The thing is, that was my backup. I originally picked Olivia Wilde.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
that was my backup.
This is gonna be a short episode.
Don't worry, I've got enough written out to where I can fill it out if I have to.
He's written this
No,
whole...
As I usually do.
Ask me who my
Real.
ask me who my Catwoman pick is.
Who?
It's Olivia Wilde.
I mean, but just
So-
like look at her in Tron though, because that's like my thing. Like
Right.
she's so like perfect Catwoman in that. Like the hair, she's totally just like sexy, mysterious. Love it.
I want to see Olivia Wilde act opposite of Ben Affleck because I feel
Ooh,
like
that would
she
be
could
really
really
nice.
be like the sexy antithesis to him and like get his buttons going in all the right and wrong ways like Catwoman's
So,
supposed to do.
Do you have Batman in your movie then?
I do.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
I just left him out.
Not even
He was
important.
not really in the like Gotham Sirens comic that
He
much.
wasn't.
And when he was Ace Complicated, he actually was someone. It was like Hush that was playing him because those got like super.
Yeah,
messed
the
up at
Hidden
some point,
Heart one
but,
or
yeah.
Hush Heart or something. Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
Okay, so Olivia Wilde or Eva Green.
Yes.
Right. I'm in love with both of them, so that's mainly why I chose them. But
I went all in on Olivia Wilde, and it's based very heavily on her Tron role.
right.
You know, I've been a big fan of hers for a while, and I think she needs to do more stuff anyway.
She hasn't really
so.
had that like breakout role that like you really like remember her for. So this could be it for her.
Ryan, who was your pick for Catwoman?
Like I said, I went a little different with Catwoman. I kind of wanted like somebody that could portray a darker past and, you know, seem kind of like a damaged character. Because I think in a lot of incarnations, Catwoman is not like super clean, you know.
I don't think she ever is.
So I picked Rooney Mara, she was the
That's
girl
a
with the
good
dragon
choice.
tattoo.
Right.
And
okay.
she was also in Lucy.
Wasn't she Tiger Lily in Peter Pan?
Oh,
Yeah, she was in
really?
Pan also.
Yeah.
I didn't
cool.
see that one.
I didn't either.
so-
I didn't see that one either.
But I saw it on her IMDb.
Yeah.
I think she could portray like a definitely a darker tone, more in line with what the DCEU has already had. And I think it would be interesting because you'd have like really dark Catwoman, then a little bit lighter Harley, and then, you know, Poison Ivy, who's just kind of her own thing, but that they still kind of make it work as a trio. I think that would be really an interesting dynamic between all
I think that
three
Ava
of them.
Green could do a super dark thing too, because I mean, if you watch Penny Dreadful,
Right.
which is freaking amazing, like that's
Great
why I love her
show.
so much. She's very dark in that, very dark. And
Absolutely. Eva Green also has those eyes that could like pierce
Oh,
your soul.
Yes, like
Like-
it's so striking, and I want that on my Catwoman. I think like all the people we chose kind of have that striking look. In fact,
Yeah.
But-
Rooney Mara is
Yeah.
very atypical of Hollywood. She does not
Totally.
look like the buxom blonde.
I loved her in the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Absolutely.
So I could
Very
totally
intense.
see her.
Intense.
I was sad that
movie.
Yeah.
they didn't flesh out the rest of the series in the
I
American
know.
movies. I mean,
Yeah.
Numi Rapace did a great job in the Swedish
Right.
versions, but
I really like the Swedish versions.
Is that how you pronounce her name?
I'm guessing.
I thought it was Naomi Rapace.
I've heard it pronounced
Guessing.
like 5 different ways, so I was just
Don't-
make up my
I'm
own
just asking.
pronunciation.
Don't go
anyway.
off of me.
Okay. I think it's Naomi, but
Maybe.
It's N-O-O,
Yeah.
so that's why I don't assume it's Naomi.
that's
But,
fair. Yeah. All right, so those are the big three.
Right.
Kind of got that out of the way.
We've got a really good trio so far. I think all of
I think
us
so,
had.
yeah. There's no
I mean,
things I hate.
half of us.
I mean, it's like all the same.
It's all
So,
good.
it's consistency is kind of nice sometimes. So let's talk a bit about side characters. Do you have any other, do you have any heroes in the movie? We'll get to villains, I guess, later.
Right.
I think it makes sense to have a hero in the movie since they are the villains, and I mean,
Yeah.
so kind of got to have that play a bit. I would choose like Batgirl, like another female villain, or sorry, hero, to kind of
Their villain.
Yeah. I would choose a female hero. Batgirl, I think, would be awesome, and we need to have her on screen for sure.
Absolutely.
And I chose Emma Stone. I think
Really?
it would be, yeah, I think it would be like a little bit of like a lighter
Her
Batgirl.
eyes won't fit in the cowl.
Aww, I think
That's not
so
nice.
pretty.
I think her eyes are awesome, but
Really?
they're really big.
They are big.
So it'll look weird in a cowl.
I think they should be really good as like
It was
the
a
more
fair criticism. What? I mean, I'm just
Get out
saying.
of here.
the more like current, like New 52 Batgirl. I think that she looks like a lot like her, and it's a little bit like lighter, younger character for Batgirl, and I think that she would really fit well as that. I
So
think
you-
she would play off them really well.
Are you picturing her then looking kind of like the biker
Yeah,
jacket look?
I think
the
that would
new
work
one?
really well for Emma Stone. As much as like I don't really like that, it's not my favorite Batgirl costume. I don't know. I think it would fit her really well for something more like that. But
I mean, that costume could be adapted to the movies pretty easily.
I think that they would choose something more like that in the movies because they don't really go like the spandex.
But they didn't go
suit
that route with
really,
Ben Affleck.
so,
I mean,
yeah,
so why would they would go that? I mean, I would,
They would
go,
totally
think they would
go
do
more
a
that
similar
route.
style
I-
to what
yeah.
Ben Affleck has.
Depending
love the
on
leather.
the Batgirl origin, how she came to be, whether she did it inspired by Batman or if they steal Batwoman's origin and she does it, on her own and not. It could go either way.
I mean, if she's working with Batman, then he's probably going to be like, let me get you a suit.
Well, I mean, Batwoman
Yeah.
just took the name. She rarely works with Batman.
Right.
Right, but if
She does now.
She said Batgirl.
in
Well,
Rebirth,
Right.
Yeah, she
they've
does
now.
they've grown closer over the years, but she was mainly solo.
but they also work with Clayface now. So I mean,
Yeah.
Everyone has worked with everyone at some
Things are
point.
weird.
I mean, for real.
Things are weird and shifty.
Rebirth is a strange place.
I also chose Emma Stone as my Batgirl, and I fought back and forth on do I want Batwoman, who mainly works alone and has fought these three ladies multiple times, or do I want Batgirl, who's more prolific, who has done more things as, Oracle, Barbara Gordon, and Batgirl. And I ultimately chose Batgirl because eventually I want to see a Birds of Prey movie too.
Yeah, totally.
Because it would be almost the exact same movie as Gotham City Sirens, only from a different viewpoint. And I want to see Batgirl, Huntress, and Black Canary fight.
that would be cool.
Be badass.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose Batgirl, because I feel like she would get a spin-off, and I chose Emma Stone to play her because she's beautiful, she's talented, she's intelligent. She is now an Oscar winner, and
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
the DCEU loves Oscar winners.
Yeah.
So let me ask you both a question because I am very curious. You've picked Batgirl, but you didn't pick Jenna Malone to play Batgirl.
Yeah,
Correct.
I totally forgot.
Why
about that.
not?
I don't know. I mean, I don't dislike Jenna Malone. She's like never been my first choice for that character.
The one deleted scene.
She wasn't playing Barbara Gordon.
She wasn't playing
She
Barbara
was
Gordon,
just a
and
random news reporter.
that's
And-
important.
That's
to
true.
me. It really is, and I absolutely adore her. But it's just
Yeah. Don't really see it.
yeah.
Okay. Well, so I also had Batgirl in my movie because I think you
Yay.
need some good guy for them to play
Yeah, you
off
totally
of.
do, right?
She's not my only good guy in the movie, but I also have a big bad guy too. So, but I picked Jenna Malone because I know that there had been a lot of talks about her being Batgirl. I know it didn't actually come to fruition in BVS, not even the Ultimate Cut, so I'm not arguing that. But I do think that was the original intention of casting her, and so I
Either
wanted...
that or Carrie Kelly.
Oh, that's cool. I like her.
I
Carrie
mean,
Kelly is my favorite Robin.
I mean,
But,
that would be really cool. I certainly wouldn't complain if they had gone that route, and it fits the Frank Miller style Batman that they went with, so
Yeah.
that would have been fine. But I picked her as my Batgirl,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was who I picked for that. Ryan, did you have a Batgirl?
No.
You did not. Okay, so who did you have that was a good guy?
I had Batman.
Yeah. Okay.
As an I want to preface it by saying that this was to establish that the women in the Sirens were more than capable of actually being awesome by having Batman in the scene that I have written on my piece of paper.
Ryan always goes into a lot more detail than...
I'm like, I didn't write the movie.
No,
script
nobody ever
out.
does. I'm the only one that does that. But it's to establish how good they are, or how good skilled they are at what they're doing. I wanted to kind of go anti-Ghostbusters, and instead of making the guys so stupid that it kind of undermines how smart the women are, I want the guy to be so good. We've seen movies showing how good he is, and that when the women are better, then it makes it's a big character development move, I think.
Okay.
So
we'll go into the stories in a bit. So you got your Batman. No other good guys?
No other good guys.
Okay. Does anybody else have another good guy?
I mentioned Nightwing
You
because I
did.
think it would be cool to have him and Batgirl in there. I think it'd be really cute. And I chose another Game of Thrones person, Kit Harington, because Kit Harington. I mean, come on.
It's nothing personal because I only know him from Game of Thrones, but I just don't
Oh,
care.
you suck.
I don't.
We're going to watch that Pompeii movie with him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I forgot about that movie. I had Nightwing in my movie as well. And I have two actors picked because I figured you guys might push back a bit on my first choice. But I originally wanted it to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I thought you were going to say Adrian Brody.
No.
Because
Beefy.
he's beefy. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I'm never going to live that down.
Nope.
For two big reasons. One, I think he's a great casting choice for it. I loved when he was cast in Dark Knight Rises as the character he was cast as. I'm not going to say the name that they gave him because it was stupid.
You mean Robin?
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
Robin.
Now, the original plan, I know it didn't happen, but the original plan was for Christian Bale's movies to be the beginning of the DCEU, and it'd be that Batman. That's not the Batman that we got. However,
goodness.
I don't think we need to necessarily throw every piece of that trilogy away. And I think that Joseph Gordon-Levitt coming in as a Robin is a good choice. And I think at this point in the timeline, he would have become Nightwing by now.
Plus, his name is Robin, so I mean, it just works
His
out.
name is Dick Grayson.
No. No one's name is Robin.
Except for Shabratsky.
Right. And she's Canadian. So, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt was my original choice. If we want to completely separate the two universes and not have any of that carry over to avoid confusion, then I was going to pick Armie Hammer as my Nightwing.
I do love him.
Yeah, he would be a good Nightwing.
I think he'd be better Hal Jordan, personally, but...
Oh, he'd be a good Hal
I mean, I'm not going to be mad if he's cast as Hal Jordan. I think he'd be a better Nightwing. I don't think he has the attitude for Hal Jordan, personally. And that's actually a compliment, because Hal Jordan's kind of a jerk. So
He is. He's a big,
He's not kind of a jerk. I mean, he is a jerk.
conservative, doesn't realize he's racist. Like,
Hal Jordan?
yeah. He's probably not anymore, but in
I'm trying
the
to remember.
in the 60s and 70s, when he teamed up with Green Arrow, he was called out for being racist multiple times, not just the one that's famous, but a few. So, he's probably not anymore. But
not since the 90s reboot,
I bet he refuses to acknowledge his male white privilege.
I mean, that's probably true. Guy Gardner has become such a jerk that it's kind of overshadowed everybody else.
You're totally
so, but that's fair. I don't really think much about how Hal was prior to 1990. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So that was my Nightwing, and I thought that that would be a good dynamic there.
I agree with it.
I like both those choices. It's kind of weird because there's been a lot of people that actually have wanted to play that character. I just saw the other day that Steven Yin from The Walking Dead wants to play it.
That's my vote. I like
and
that.
then the other day I saw another article that Jared Padalecki wants to play him too. So I think we should just all put them in a ring and have them fight it out for this role.
That's really funny since Jensen Ackles voiced Red
Hood.
Hood.
Yeah. Oh my god, it'd be so cute.
Yeah. Moose and Squirrel.
Wow.
They don't watch Supernatural. They don't get it.
No, we don't watch Supernatural in its 23rd season.
I have stopped watching.
We are such big fans. We're getting the pentagrams that matching tattoos.
I have no
Okay.
We're about to get a lot of views on the stream.
Okay, so what are some other characters that you guys have?
Well, I carried over Joker and Amanda Waller.
You have them in the movie.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it shows the very last scene is Joker breaking Harley out of prison. I want to show them tear up. And since David Ayer hinted at Black Mask being the big, big bad, I figured I'd go with something very similar to what was in Under the Red Hood, where there's a feud and, Black Mask is a mob boss kind of. He's a crime boss, but he, unlike Penguin, he is dumb. Black Mask is dumb. He makes all of his decisions very rashly. He doesn't think things through. He's not very manipulative. He just has sheer power over people, and that can rub people the wrong way, especially somebody so territorial like Joker,
Interesting.
And I wanted kind of Harley to be in the middle of it, and I wanted to show the more abusive side of Joker. I feel like they did a good job of it in Suicide Squad, but I wanted to up the ante. So I figured having Joker in there gives Harley a reason to leave and meet up with Poison Ivy. And while Poison Ivy is not in the business of collecting hurt, battered women, she kind of takes a liking to Harley because, she's a fellow doctor, and she, Plus, I also want to see Ivy inject Harley with the antitoxins that end up giving her the enhanced strength and agility kind of thing. And
okay. Before we get too deep in the story, though, we'll wrap up casting.
I also included my only other character that was new, Black Mask, and I want Jason Isaacs to play him. And I was inspired because today he was announced for a local con. And he's really good at playing villains.
I don't think I've ever seen him play anything else, actually.
I don't think I have either.
But he does it well. So.
I mean, he did Captain Hook. He did Captain Shang, I think is his name, in Avatar. And then, of course, Lucius Malfoy.
Wasn't he the bad guy in The Patriot?
He was.
And he was also the bad guy in The OA, which is this Netflix show.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he's like the main bad guy in that.
Okay.
So I included him, and I included Holly Robinson because I feel like if you're going to focus on Catwoman, you have to have Holly. Yeah. Kind of like her wayward adopted sister.
Okay.
And I wanted to pick someone who looks very young, so I chose Elle Fanning. And if you don't know who she is, she played Aurora in the Maleficent movie. She just has a very innocent look to her, but she also could, still, she could pickpocket you or something, I totally believe, and that's kind of sums up Holly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ryan, who else do you have in your movie?
All the rest of mine are villains.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
and they're like all the villains.
Like all
Like, just every single Batman villain.
Essentially every
man.
Gotham villain, yeah.
So this is the Batman Lego movie, but Gotham City Sirens.
A little different.
I
did
bring
Black
in like
Mask.
Voldemort and stuff.
I had Joker. I had Joker in mine also, but obviously I didn't recast him.
I didn't either.
Black Mask. I picked Mark Strong, who was. I love Kick-Ass. If you watch this or listen to the show, you know that's one of my favorite superhero movies. And he
That's
was
a good one.
he was the crime lord of Kick-Ass basically, and I can't picture like whenever I see him as a gangster like mafia whatever kind of guy. So I feel like he'd be a good Black Mask.
I won't cast him in a DC movie on the off chance that they bring him back as Sinestro in 2020.
Yeah, probably not gonna happen.
I
wasn't
would
worried
love
about
that. He was the best part of that film.
Totally.
Hands down,
Yeah.
without a doubt. He
Really
was
good.
spot on, perfect for that role.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the rest of the movie, but
Yeah, you can say whatever you want about the rest
That's the
of
only
it.
part I really remember out the movie. I think I even blocked everything else out.
no, he was so on the off chance that DC decides to cherry pick some of the stuff that their previous movies did well, I'm gonna leave him available.
Probably not.
So
Seems unlikely.
I know that
very
it seems unlikely.
This is the guy that's hanging on to the fact that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's going to play Nightwing and at the DCEU now.
Yeah.
You know I love you, Derek, but it's not going to happen.
Look, until he's
They might cast him in it, but it's not connected to that universe.
that's fine. But if they do cast him as Nightwing, they may not make it so it doesn't connect to the previous universe.
Okay.
Is my point. So there's nothing in place right now that says that the Nolan trilogy didn't happen in the DCEU.
Did it happen in like the 70s? Because Batman has been in Gotham as Ben Affleck for what, a long time.
Time is kind of fluid, you know. So
Is it though?
I mean, it's really not, but
I mean, I don't remember there being a specific year that the Nolan trilogy took
well, if you
place
look at
in.
the technology in both movies,
Of
then
course.
it's not like they have future, cell phones that are clear.
Some
things
of
are
the technology that we saw in
flexible. I don't
BVS
know.
is more advanced than what you would normally see today.
Slightly.
So, you know.
But Batman always has more advanced technology.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff you saw in the Nolan trilogy is more advanced
Well,
than what you'd see today, too.
I guess
so.
it's on a different Earth then.
Okay.
I don't want to get into an argument
It's a
about
parallel
it.
universe.
I also cast Bane. I cast Nathan Jones, who is the guy I always cast as my big dude. He was Mad Max Fury Road. He was the really big guy. And he was also in the Jet Li movie. He's been in a lot of roles.
The Jet Li.
The one where he's like
man.
running his own school and he like gets,
Oh, man.
I don't
I
remember
remember
what
that.
was it Unleashed? Fearless, I think it was, something like that. I cast Timothy Spall as Penguin.
Wait, who's that?
Wormtail from Harry Potter. And he's been in a lot of stuff. He
a
was
good
also
choice.
in
Really Enchanted.
and
Yeah.
what was the
Yeah.
one with Johnny Depp, the musical? He was in that too.
Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. He was in
It's a
that.
really good choice.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great Penguin. Doug Jones as Clayface.
Of course.
Poor guy.
John Malkovich as Mr. Freeze, and
Oh my God.
Andrew Lincoln as Two-Face. Because Andrew Lincoln, I don't even if you don't watch The Walking Dead,
blank on
he's the Rick from
Rick,
Walking Dead,
yeah.
and he's
okay.
really
The
good.
stalker in Love, actually.
He's really
Yeah, I
great
haven't
as
seen
Rick.
that either.
I haven't either, but I saw that scene with him in it, so I was like, Andy Lincoln.
So I always wanted John Malkovich to play the Riddler, and thinking about him as Mr. Freeze is actually really kind of cool.
I think he'd be a great.
Basically, you love
Super
my
Freeze.
casting. We'll just go there.
I think
and
you'd
say-
be
I
like a
like
cheesy
I
Mr.
like
Freeze,
your
too.
casting. I like your casting.
Nothing could be cheesier than Arnold.
Yeah, it can't be worse. That's for sure. I guarantee
You
you,
know
he'll
what?
only have 5 cold puns in the
It
movie.
could it could be worse
Only
because
5.
it's not a forgettable performance, and you could have a forgettable performance.
Well, any movie where
So-
the lead actor
That's
says
true.
that they will personally refund your money for the ticket you bought,
Look,
which George Clooney has gone on the record to
George
say.
Clooney
Yeah.
may hate that he did that movie, but Arnold Schwarzenegger still loves that he did that movie, and I love that he loves it because
I
he's
do
got a
He
sense
loves
of
that he
humor.
did every movie.
But he's
Like,
got a sense of humor.
he's got
about
a
himself.
Conan sword in his office.
And that's great. He should, because it's a great role that he was able to play. But nobody,
Yeah.
if you were on the set of Batman and Robin and took it seriously, I think that might have been part of the problem.
Oh, totally. Yeah, the only thing that makes it even slightly watchable if you're just watching him for the pure like camp and like cheesiness, and he was like the pinnacle of that.
I mean,
so,
if George
you know.
Clooney did the credit card scene and then didn't immediately think, "Wow, that was awful," then I mean, it's really
Well,
his
he was
fault.
already
That's
in the
on,
movie
that's
at
on
that
him.
point. You can't escape from that at that point.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's pretty much all the villains I cast, but there are probably going to be some minor ones in there too.
Okay. Did you have anybody?
I had Viggo Mortensen as Black Mask.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I like that,
I think
actually.
I like that.
Yeah, he's kind of like
Not
an
more than
old,
mine, but-
older, but he would be really good as like a crime boss, I think, and kind of has that like creepy looking face, and I think he could play it off really well. And then I had a Riddler, and I chose Andrew Scott, who is from Sherlock, and he's Moriarty.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so
I don't watch
I didn't know his real name.
I didn't either. I had to look it up. So, like, he'd be so good in that. Because if you watch Sherlock,
cool.
I don't know if he's been in anything else, but he was really good in that.
That's a cool
And he's
choice.
like, basically, he could switch over that role really easily from the Moriarty role. So.
Absolutely.
So I only had Black Mask. He's my only villain. I did have Batman showing up, but really more of a cameo to kind of say he's busy doing stuff with the Justice League and they have to handle it. And they being, Batgirl and Nightwing. But Black Mask I had as Michael J. White. And the reason is I wanted to kind of focus on, like, he's kind of aggressive and very much into being a, physically intimidating people into doing things, and I think that he would be great for that role. I think that from a physical standpoint, he could put up a fight too. So when it came down to it, it doesn't have to be just his henchmen and him, shooting guns. They could actually have a fight scene.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you don't have a fight scene and you've got Catwoman in your movie, I feel like that's like a huge waste.
Gotta have a fight scene.
So...
Very disappointing if they didn't have like at least one really cool fight scene.
Yeah, because in Suicide Squad, it was mostly just shooting guns.
Yeah.
It was really the bulk of that movie. And that's fine because, whatever. But I think once you have Catwoman, like, she has to be able to fight somebody. So.
Absolutely.
So that's who I had for that. Any other casting before we start talking about stories?
No.
That's all I had.
Okay, all right. Doc Rev likes my pick for Michael J. White as...
Nice.
Yeah, because
Black Mask,
he
so.
likes him for anything. So
Because he's awesome and he needs
He
to be in
is.
more
Michael
stuff.
J. White is really cool.
All right, so let's talk stories. Who wants to kick us off?
I think the Sirens should kick us off. Because it's the Sirens show right now.
Goodness.
So okay, so let's start with this.
You were a story.
Do you know? Do the Sirens know each other before your movie?
No.
They don't. Okay.
No. They know of each other. They've all been their alter egos for quite some time at this point. And maybe they've had minor interactions, but they're not.
Yeah, it should be like
together.
they've had minor interactions because I think most people with cats are like slightly older, not like super young, kind of like in that universe in general. So they probably had like a few run-ins, but they're not friends yet. I can totally.
Okay.
So yeah, and they kind of like meet up and become unlikely partners.
Yeah. In my world, Harley has gotten more and more frustrated with Joker. She's been on the lam, obviously, since she was broken out, and she's tired of being cooped up all the time. She's tired of being the side gal. She really enjoyed getting out there and doing stuff with the Suicide Squad and having friends. So she doesn't have that with him, and she realizes that his abuse is not just physical, but very emotional, and she wants to get out of it. I have Poison Ivy as about a year after her transformation, after her attack. So she hasn't really done anything huge. I have it so that it copied off of one of my favorite comic with her, where she had seduced and taken over Riddler's hideout, especially like he had just reformed himself for the millionth time, so she just kind of kicked him out. And in this, she's trying to figure out how to get her life back as a doctor and how to continue doing her botany and stuff. But she's green now, and she was disgraced and attacks, like physically she was attacked. They didn't actually say rape in her origin, but it was pretty implied. So she's pretty bitter, and she's not really looking for friends. And then Catwoman has been taking advantage of Batman being with the Justice League. He's not in Gotham, and so she's pulling bigger jobs while he's gone. And trying to not stay under the radar like she would, and her and Holly are kind of living it up at this point. And
so what do you have Batgirl doing?
Batgirl is pretty much at this point, like, she's not Batgirl yet. Her thing's gonna be in this movie too. She's kind of in the Felicity Smoke role, and I say that as she helped Batman with tech stuff while he was out doing things. Kind of like Jeremy Irons. Yeah.
That would be better than Felicity Smoke, I think.
Well, I say that because more people are familiar with her right now. More people are familiar with Felicity Smoke because of the TV show. So that's what I said that.
And they did call her Oracle at one point.
Oh, really?
They did. It was dumb.
Yes.
And I guess they got in trouble probably. Had to change
it. In my movie, Batgirl suits up because she feels that taking these people down with tech alone isn't possible, and in her mind all of these people are villains, not just Black Mask.
Okay, so for you then the Sirens are fighting Black Mask and Batgirl at the same time.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. Sorry,
that was really loud.
It's so loud. That's how it should be, because Black Mask is never a good guy. These three ladies, they're like Deadpool to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. I mean, they kill and they rob and they, do some bad stuff, but they kill like rapists and they steal from like heavy rich people that can't afford it. They're like Robin Hoods to a certain degree. People love the anti-heroes, and that's what these three ladies are.
So what's your overall plot? What's your little synopsis for what happens?
Harley's gonna kick it off. Joker starts a feud with Black Mask, and it kind of takes over Gotham, becomes a bigger growing problem. I wanted to keep the plot very simple because I feel like the biggest problems with BVS and Suicide Squad is more and more as it got more convoluted and they couldn't unravel all the strings they created. So,
I didn't think Suicide Squad was all that complicated, but
if Suicide Squad wasn't complicated,
I was waiting for you to say it, Derek.
Rick Flag wouldn't have to be Mr. Exposition. Like
he was Mr. Exposition, but I don't think it was
necessary.
Yeah,
it's because
I don't think
explain all the characters to
us.
But
that wasn't a complicated story. That was introducing, 7 or 8 characters.
Yeah,
that's
the
all that
plot
he was there
simple,
for.
but they tried to I don't know. It was a mess at the same time. I don't even know.
Like BVS was a complicated movie. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But,
Lex Luthor's plan was so convoluted.
I've read really long, explanations about the plot. Like they're not wrong, but it is really complicated. Suicide Squad, not so much.
Okay, I feel like Suicide Squad was overloaded with characters, and they didn't have enough time to explain all of them or give all of them their due.
Katana.
Yeah.
Croc.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone but Deadshot.
Right.
Yeah, basically.
So you have the feud.
So Harley runs out. Ivy ends up just kind of bumping into her and taking pity on her, and the two of them have like a really weird friendship where Harley is the Pinkie Pie. She is the over the top and just, crazy happy person, and Poison Ivy is like the straight man to her. She's just, they're the odd couple, and they develop cute little crushes on each other. They can be in a romantic relationship if they want. I feel like that's a little too soon to be full-on monogamous right after Joker. But the crush can be great, because I want to definitely point out that all three of these women are sexually ambiguous. They don't have a gender preference. They just they go for whoever they want. And then during one of their jobs, Harley convinces Ivy to go out and not be a recluse, and they meet up with Catwoman, and Catwoman crosses paths with Black Mask, and now he's after her, and so the three of them join up to kind of protect each other.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the story, and
cool.
But
I like that. And it makes sense because Catwoman and Black Mask are at each other's throats all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So we'll switch back and forth a little bit. So Ryan, you go next. but we gotta pick up the pace a little bit. So we're getting close.
It's 8:50.
Because we're getting close on time, and I know we always go over a little bit, but let's focus. Let's do this.
Let me just mark this off. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Act 1, Scene 1.
So as I usually do, I have my opening scene right now.
He does.
So if you could kind of, you don't have to close your eyes, but if you could just kind of picture this in your head, pretend that I'm the voices of the three women, because I'm not doing the
That's
voices.
hot. That is
Right?
so
I
hot.
want to hear the voices.
I did
I'm
originally
not doing the
cast you
voices.
as all three of them.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Okay,
not
so
mine, so we could have read the role for you. But
that's true.
yeah.
That's true. But I didn't want to give away my story. Anyway, so you start out with like a wide view of Gotham, and you hear like police radio chatter and like general city sounds, and you're kind of zooming in on like a warehouse district, and the camera comes closer, and you kind of hear women kind of casual conversation, and you come in through a window, and you can hear the voices really clearly, and you hear not a bad haul, and it camera kind of goes over, and you see Catwoman, right? And you hear kind of jingling and see that, it looks like obviously burglary or something. She stole some jewelry or diamonds or something.
Is there like a comically large diamond?
There may be. I haven't decided yet if I want to give any ridiculous things like that. So yeah, you see Catwoman, and she's in like her full Catwoman gear.
Doc Rev wants you to do voices.
I'm not doing voices.
All right.
And you hear a voice from the other side of the room say, and we found this beautiful corpse flower rotting behind the counter. Such a shame. And it goes over to Poison Ivy, and you see her kind of like touching this really rare, expensive flower thing, and it suddenly starts to look more healthy, and like, so you kind of get an idea of her power if you don't know who she is. And when she sees it getting better, oh, that's better. And she says, what are we going to do with him? And you kind of pans over, and you see Batman hanging unconscious upside down from the ceiling from vines. And you see a whip like holding his hands tied.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's I'm trying to establish the fact that they're awesome. And
That's
like,
what Hills and I do in our off time.
they tie Derek up with
String men
whips
up.
and vines.
No, not just Derek.
Oh, okay.
John's there too.
All the men.
Okay. I don't have that in my movie. Yeah, so essentially you hear, when they're talking about what they're going to do with Batman, you hear sirens coming up, and Harley yells something like, we got company, or something like that, and she comes running in, and you obviously recognize her because she's probably wearing similar to what she did in Suicide Squad. You know exactly who she is. Then they decide to leave Batman, and they all run, grab all the jewels, and Poison Ivy grabs her little plant, runs out towards the camera, and you see them all kind of run out at the sides of the camera, and as Harley is running...
There's a third vote for you to do the
doing
voices.
it. As you see Harley running towards the camera, you see her kind of like stretching her jaw and like pulling out her skin, and it's like it's putty or something, and so you get this kind of weird, what's going on there. And the title of mine is Gotham City Sirens, Enter the Fun House. And basically the plot synopsis is like Black Mask and Joker are coming together, kind of wipe out the Sirens from either they join and help the crime family that they're trying to start, like one big crime family, Joker and Black Mask working together. Yeah. I'm assuming Joker's probably going to try and kill him at some point, but
sure.
Yeah, so they pull all the villains together and like kind of like Killing Joke, build this huge carnival thing, and like kind of an Arkham vibe on that, where you have all the different villains kind of doing their own way to take care of the Sirens, and they kind of go through and have to use their
Shout out to Lee Farrell for calling Ryan's movie 50 Shades of Batman.
Whatever. Anyway, the plot is basically that was Clayface, so was Harley, and he set up the whole getting them to the funhouse thing, and then they have to go rescue Harley, and so it'll kind of give Margot Robbie a chance to play like kind of an off version of Harley, where it's not quite right, but you can't put your finger on why.
See, if you're going to do a funhouse thing, it's a great opportunity to show her in the animated series costume.
And maybe she'll get that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she'll get that. I'm not ruling that out. I hadn't gone
They
deep
should
into the costumes yet.
Change up her costume a little bit.
I was going to leave that to the professionals, the costumes. I'm just the right screenwriter, director, and producer. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
That's basically my entire plot. Yeah.
All right.
How
Awesome.
about you,
Hills.
I like their plots. I'm not going to go into a lot, but more just like the overall tone. I don't want it to be like as dark as other movies. For me, like the Sirens should always be like lighter. In the comics, I enjoyed reading it. Paul Dini wrote it. who's amazing. He's like one of my favorite writers. But it was always a lighter tone. It was more of them playing off each other than really like fighting a lot of times. Of course, I want there to be fighting in the movie, but I really want it to be focused more on like the relationship of the three of them. And again, I don't want it to be dark, and it's got to be light, and it's got to be fun in some manner. There are going to be serious parts, but I want it to be funny. That's what I want in my movie.
I totally agree. Like, some of my favorite moments in the Gotham City Sirens comic book were
like cheesy as hell.
Yeah.
But,
Catwoman notices Poison Ivy like decaying at one point, so she throws her in water. And it's awesome.
That's
like
funny.
that should happen.
And a lot of it is like them just having like get rich quick kind of schemes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's really cute,
and like protecting
though.
each other from other things, like
exactly.
the outside world.
Like that's how they get brought into a lot of the storylines, is because they're helping each other out. They're like, oh, we gotta go save Ivy again.
Yeah.
She was messed up with this other guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it's just
There's
it's really
three
cute.
really, really, really damaged women, but when the three of them are around each other, they're best friends and they're happy, and it's awesome.
All right, cool.
How about you?
So for mine, mine's pretty straightforward. Basically, the Sirens have all been kind of working together for a couple of years, because I kind of had this taking place in real time after Suicide Squad. So I figured that some 6 to 12 months after Suicide Squad, they start meeting up and doing stuff. So by the time the movie comes out, they've kind of teamed up over the course of 2 years or so.
Okay.
So they know each other. And basically, I want the movie to be about them, but to get it started, it's going to start with Batgirl and Nightwing trying to stop Black Mask. Okay. Batman is MIA because he's with the Justice League now. He's got better things to do. He's building the Watchtower or whatever they're doing between the Justice League movies.
He's laying every brick himself.
Every brick. It's a space station.
Well, he'll make it out of bricks.
In space.
They're bricks.
You almost had him, and then he was
I
like,
know.
wait, no.
He was like into it until he realized what I said.
It's bricks of adamantium and...
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium? No.
We're crossing over with Avatar.
There's no Avatar in my DCEU. Anyway, so they're trying to stop Black Mask. They're having a really hard time doing it, so this is where the Ben Affleck cameo comes in, as they call up Bats, and he's too busy, whatever it is that they're doing. He says, you guys are just going to have to figure it out yourselves. And that's when Dick Grayson kind of decides to pick up where Amanda Waller left off and try and find Harley and get some help from those people, because they need to take out Black Mask. And so they find Harley. She says, well, I've got some people, kind of thing, and she grabs Ivy and Catwoman, and they kind of form this like little Justice League. It kind of fits well with Rebirth, because Batman's played around with bringing villains into the Justice League from time to time, building his own like anti-Justice League, I guess is what you could call it. And this is kind of
that's what the Justice League Dark was.
Injustice.
No, it's more like an Injustice
Injustice
League.
League,
Yeah. It's not as intense as like the Forever Evil storyline or anything like that, but it's more of bringing in Suicide Squad characters in to act as the Justice League when the Justice League is too busy doing other things, and that's what this would be.
Ian Turner, frequent visitor, says he would cast Lady Gaga as Poison Ivy and Taraji P. Henson as Catwoman.
I don't know who that last person is.
She's in Empire. She plays Cookie, and she was also the main character in Hidden Figures.
Okay, the last part, I don't watch Empire, the name Cookie doesn't help. So, I'm sorry.
I personally think Gaga, looks-wise, is probably going to be all right, but she's done like 2 episodes of a TV show. You're not going to cast her in the DCEU. I mean,
she's not bubbly enough for me.
Yeah, that too.
I liked her in American Horror Story, but
I think he just wants Gaga to be in the DCEU.
Yeah,
And sorry,
that's
Ian,
fair.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We can find another character for her.
Put her in the Marvel universe. She can be like a
She can
tiny
be Lady
character.
Gaga in the DCEU.
There you go. That's good. Yeah.
She can be the
doesn't need to be a
White
superhero.
Rabbit.
There you go. That would be
There you
really
go.
cool.
People would love that character.
I
True.
would love it.
Okay, so that was my story. That was kind of how I had that going. So it's almost like kind of a way to ease out of Suicide Squad, but bring in Nightwing and Batgirl at the same time.
Okay.
Oh.
So what would ruin this movie for you guys?
A romantic subplot for me would ruin it. I don't think they need that. I mean,
I think that unless it was Harley and Ivy.
I don't think it needs to be even that. I want them to establish a good movie without a romantic. I mean, it could. It could be.
I think
in
that there could be flirtation without there being like
Catwoman
a
and Batman
romantic
do
subplot.
that. You know,
I think they could
I would love for there to
totally
be just flirtation, but not have it be like part of the plot. I totally agree with that.
In my opinion, they can totally hint at the fact that Catwoman and Batman have had sex before. Because if Batman's this far along as Batman, then he slept with Selena Kyle before. But, I mean, they don't need to show it. The two of them don't need to be dating. Batman means so little in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
they're hardly ever dating anyway.
Right.
They just, like,
date
once in a while.
It's really only Hush where they're like, let's be monogamous. And then at the end they're like, no,
this
was
is
dumb.
This is too much.
That was dumb. Let's not do that.
No, Batman's only in my movie at all because he's the one character that ties all the movies together.
The one ring.
I mean, of course, he does like.
Because the MCU started it with Samuel Jackson,
yeah.
now it's Iron Man. You know, you always have this one character that kind of ties the universe together.
It could just be like a cameo. Like I would be cool with just a cameo at the beginning to tie it in and be like, hey, this isn't Batman.
Not acknowledging Batman is probably pretty dumb.
It is dumb.
Especially if you're gonna have it in Gotham and you're gonna have Batgirl in it. I feel like
you're gonna be like, where's Batman the whole time? They have to at least explain it.
I actually felt that Suicide Squad did a great job of acknowledging Batman. These characters exist in Batman's world, but he is not our focus.
Right. And I think that doing something similar, even smaller, like that's kind of why I had basically that Batgirl Nightwing call him up, like, hey, we need your help. And he's like, yeah, you guys have to figure that one out. And he's off battling something giant with
What is such a dare thing to say. I call him up all the time and ask help, and he's like, nah, you got to figure that one out yourself.
Yeah, call up the Sirens. All right, so I do want to know what other people want to see for their casting. Ian is calling out Ryan by saying that Lady Gaga was in an entire season of American Horror Story.
She was on 12 episodes. Cool,
she was
man.
good in American Horror Story.
And I'm sure she was.
Right.
I never said she wasn't. But casting her as a major character in a major blockbuster is not something that's going to happen.
A couple other people say it's a bold gamble, but it could pay off. So, really, as long as we're on the page that Megan Fox shouldn't do it.
Oh, that was what I was going to say, and I lost it. Like, that would ruin it for you guys, right?
Casting would ruin it for me.
Because they were going to have her be Poison Ivy.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
There's a couple of reality TV stars that have been trying to build up campaigns on Twitter and Instagram to have them be Poison Ivy, and I'm like, no. You were on season, 19 of The Bachelor?
That was my number one thing. They gotta be good at acting. We can't have this. No. They gotta be good at acting. That was number one criteria.
I think people say stuff like this because, one, the movie Catwoman, while Halle Berry is a fantastic actress, that movie was just bad. It really
wasn't her. Like, I thought that she would be a fantastic Catwoman, but that movie was just the freaking worst.
It was terrible. So people have a tainted view of Catwoman because of that. And then I feel like they also just think that Poison Ivy is there to be sexy plant lady. And there's
sexy plant lady.
They know her from Uma Thurman playing her, and that's not her character at all.
That's more obvious.
In Justice League Dark, that's what he was going to be for my movies. No,
I wanted to propose all this to you. If Hills and I ever stop touring cons and stuff as the Super Sirens, I think we should create our own knockoff spoof TV show called Kitty Face and Plant Lady and just wear our previous costumes.
You're gonna get sued.
Right.
All right, and on that note, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you. What?
I did want to say something about our Patreon.
Oh, okay.
We haven't been talking about it as much this month.
That's true.
But if you don't know, Heroes Podcast. I know we're streaming this on the Super Sirens. But
you're also streaming.
We're also on Twitch.
Yeah, we're on Twitch. But we're part of the Heroes Podcast Network. We're one of the shows on the Heroes Podcast Network, and we have a Patreon for the Heroes Podcast Network. And I've been doing something special for Patreon subscribers.
He has.
In January, it was semi-naked pictures of me.
So you would send them naked pictures.
I would send them naked pictures of me. Yes. Or you could pay me even more and I won't send you naked pictures. And then for February, the agreement was that if you were a subscriber, then I would write a poem of some kind for you. And I did a limerick for Jay Blood, who's in our chat on Twitch right now. on our first one of the month, I think it was. And then we skipped a week, and then I didn't do one last week. I had it, but Doc Rev was not in the chat, so I didn't think it was fair to do it.
And he's with us tonight.
So
do you have
Hopefully he's still there. I do have it.
All right, let's do this.
It's a bit of slam poetry.
All right.
I feel like that would totally is what rhymed. I'm like, it's in a nice poem.
Which I'm not.
No, of course
I'm not a great. I've never done slam poetry before, so forgive me for this being bad. Okay, so his username is DocRev68.
Yes.
You rev my car.
Aw,
My car, a jar. That's where you keep your money. Keep your money there, and then give it, all of it, to the needy. We're needy. Doc, I have a lump. Can you check it? It's in my pants. 6'8". $68. Doll hairs. For Heroes Podcast Network. Next month. Please. I can't buy food. Feed me, Seymour. Doc Rev 68.
dark.
You're welcome.
Wow. So that's definitely something.
So that's something you could get for yourself. Well, we're not doing that particular thing next month, but we'll come up with something.
Well,
special.
now it's so we're streaming this live the last night of February. So anybody who's listening to this or watching it recorded, either on iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube, you're in March. So this is a new month.
Heroes Podcasts, or patreon.com/Heroes Podcasts,
Yes.
if you'd like to give us your money.
And it's
Please do.
plural, Heroes Podcasts, and we're all over the place. HeroesPodcast.com, and we are on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us on Twitch. We do this live on Twitch every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8 p.m. Central, since we're in Kansas City. I do want to thank the Super Sirens for both joining us.
Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary. Good. Thank you.
Rachel is here
I
every
did this
week.
all
Yeah,
the
you're
time.
well, but for also
You forced me
for
to, or
streaming
else I get
us.
whipped with wet noodles.
I should have
Yes.
done this with my Catwoman cow. I just thought of that.
I told Derek before this, I was like, I wonder if Hillary's going to bring her cow.
I didn't ask.
I didn't
I for some reason I was blanking on it being filmed. So
It's all good. Next time we'll have you back on, and
Of course.
to be fair, it's like hard to like hear in it.
we'll have Ryan wear it.
Yes.
That'll be
That'll
hot.
work.
That'll be hot. But no, I was just gonna thank you for streaming us
Yes.
on your Facebook page. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, congratulations to Ian Turner and Jeremy Flanagan, who also cast in the chat.
Oh,
and
cool.
You're gonna get one of our bumper stickers. So
Yeah, look, it's us. It's
I want one.
you can
It's-
have one.
You can't have one. You didn't win.
Just
You have
enter one.
You have to tune in and
just
win it.
no,
Yeah.
here you go. And the artwork is done by our wonderful friend Nikki of Buster Props. So thank you very much to her. They are absolutely fantastic. I love them. So I'm a superhero. I wish.
With the pie symbol.
With the pie symbol. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Power Girl. My symbol's boobs.
Yeah.
Mine was. It originally kind of looked like it might have been Hebrew, and for those who don't know, I am Jewish, so I was like, maybe we should kind of we'll move away from that a little bit.
Let's
and
hide the Jewish thing, even though you just told everybody.
Everybody told the whole world, all
As if there was a question.
the tens of millions of people that tune into this show every week.
It's true.
We had a blast. Next week we're talking Logan. Go see that movie this weekend so you can talk with us.
Yes, it's got
That comes out
95%.
this weekend.
Yeah,
It
this
does.
weekend.
Thursday.
It's big. R-rated. It is R-rated. I don't
not
want
take your
another group of
kids.
people yelling at the studio for having an adult movie that they take their little kids to and then freak out when there's all this violence and gore. It is rated R for violence. It is rated R for violence.
Thanks.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle. All right, that's it for us, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all next week. Don't forget to check out our new show, Gamer Heroes, every Friday. We're going to be having our first impressions on the Nintendo Switch next week. This week, we're going to give our 2017 predictions. Dun, dun, dun.
Dirty.
All right, bye, everybody.